Hey, what is up? What's happening? Super excited to be on here. This is going to be a powerhouse interview. I am really excited about this. This is going to be awesome. And you're going to be excited that you are on with us. So as you come on, drop me a comment. Let me know, where are you coming in from? I'd love to give you a little shout out before we get the party started here. I see Amanda in the house. What's up? Sarah, Judy. Hey. Awesome. All right. And let's do something fun. Let's do some fun times. So what should I give away here? Tell you what, if you you know me, I always like doing this. So today we're going to be talking about change your brain, change your income, with a very special guest of mine, someone who I have learned a lot from, someone who coaches myself and our team, our company, and we're really blessed and honored to have that. And so I'm going to tell you what, why don't you hit the share button and drop me a comment that you shared, and we're going to give away some copies of our Persuasive Headline booklet. It's 90 compelling video headline formulas and examples. And so drop me a comment that you shared, and I'll pick a few people to win one of these. We'll ship it out to you, and it'll be super fun. I see some people sharing. Let me pick a few people, and then we're going to get this started. It's going to be awesome. All right. So Sarah Frisch Peace, hopefully I'm saying that right, gets a Persuasive Headline booklet. Nicole Gleason gets a Persuasive Headline booklet. Our friend Carrie Marie Vaughn gets a Persuasive Headline booklet. Tracy Shudo gets a Persuasive Headline booklet. Awesome. Very cool. Maybe we'll give away some more stuff here in a little bit. And so, this special guest of ours he's incredible. And you may have first seen him from the hit movie, The Secret. He was the vision board guy, which was, one of the most inspiring parts for me in that movie. And I've watched that movie many times. But he's been in quite a few different films. Earlier in life, he built up a real estate brokerage to produce over $4 billion in revenue. And he is just absolutely amazing. And he is someone, like I said, that we have invested heavily with to learn from. And he's coached me personally. And I've just been so grateful for his coaching and everything. So you're going to want to, drop him some likes and hit that share button, because we're going to get into some really, really cool stuff all around how to change your brain to change your income. And so please help me welcome best-selling author, unbelievable rock star, super coach, John Assaraf. John, how are you, man? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh my God. There we go. John, how are you?
Hey there, Ray. Nice to see you. Nice to be with you. Hi, everyone. Great to be with you all.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And so I know you have much more formal bios. I try to put my personal kind of take on it, because you've just helped me so much. And I didn't want this to, come across as, just another interview or something. Like, it's very meaningful to have you on here. So I really appreciate you.
Thank you. My bio is, not a big deal. It's great to be with you, and just to share and help, and give people some ideas, tools, tips on how to really. I always have my brain next to me. I've got the one in here and the one out here.
Yeah.
This reminds me of what I need to be doing with the one in here.
Nice. So, I mean, just diving right in, I know that, probably every person on here would love to increase their income. What does the brain have to do with it? Because isn't it just like hustle your face off and work really hard, and you'll make money, right? I mean, what does the brain have to do with that?
Well, there's a lot of people who work really hard that don't make a lot of money.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who don't work really hard but make a lot of money. So, firefighters work hard.
Yeah.
Police officers work hard. Teachers work hard, and they make a good income, but not a lot of money.
Right.
So the real question becomes, what really determines how much I earn? What really determines how much I earn? And so when we get into the inner workings of our brain and how it works and how it causes us to think certain thoughts that are the same thoughts for the most part over and over again. It causes us to feel the same way mostly every day, every week, every month. It causes us to behave in specific ways every single day. The question is it possible that we become conditioned to earn a certain amount of money? And then once we are conditioned to earn that amount of money, it's part of the habitual and expectancy point that we have in our brain. And that's what limits how much we earn, no differently than once you set a thermostat in your car or in your house, regardless of whether hot air comes in or cold air comes in, there's a countermeasure to keep that thermostat at the same temperature. So is it possible that even though we have desires or goals of earning more, the desire and the goal may just be the one part of what's required to change the setting? And all the latest research shows that we all have a financial set point. And to override that financial set point requires some retraining our brain. And in the neuroscience world, it's called refiring certain neuron patterns to rewire the brain to a new setting. And that's really the work I've been studying for 40 years for myself, for my students, for my companies, and really understanding what I call the neuromechanics of my own brain.
So if someone's wanting to, and drop a comment if you resonate with what he's saying. I think a lot of people, I hear a lot of people that, tend to stay around a certain, same income, no matter how hard they work, it seems. What are some of the first steps to helping that?
Yeah, so I think there's the first step. What's really interesting, there's a lot of new research in the world of addiction, for example, which is some of the hardest thing to change. So if you're addicted to meth, to heroin, to alcohol, to prescription drugs, to anything, a lot of the research that's really coming up right now is around this science of awareness. Let me explain what I mean by that. It's one thing to say, stop this behavior, stop doing this, and do this instead, and use sheer willpower to do that. And we know that that's really, really, really hard because there's biological factors that are at play. There's psychological factors that are in play. But here's some of the research that's coming out right now around the awareness. When you can have somebody invest, let's say, 3 minutes every hour to be aware of their thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, and behaviors as it relates to a goal they want to achieve. And here's how this goes. If, let's say, at the top of every hour, you just had a bell ring on your mobile phone and just said, okay, have my thoughts, my emotions, and my behaviors been aligned with the vision and the goal that I want to achieve, or is it moving me towards more of what I'm already achieving? That simple shift in awareness, maybe 10 times a day or 5 times a day or 3 times a day, is enough to start the process of deliberate choices. Now, here's how it works. Let's say you did this hour 1. And you realize, you know what, I'm wasting time. I'm feeling disempowered. I don't have the energy. I'm not focusing on what I need to focus on. And then you set an intention for the next hour. And I said, okay, for the next hour, I'm going to focus on doing these 3 things that are going to help me, let's say, make more money. And you actually follow through and do them. Now you've interrupted, because of awareness, a pattern that was holding you hostage or keeping you stuck. And now you've deliberately and consciously made a shift in that next hour. And then you do it again the next hour. Well, here's what we've discovered is practicing that creates permanent patterns in the brain. Permanent patterns that are reinforced move from conscious patterns to subconscious patterns. So when we're looking at resetting our financial set point, our awareness around that makes a big difference, and our deliberate small action steps towards resetting it works better than a quick reset. So let me give you an example. Let's say somebody wants to make more money and they go, I'm going to make 50 calls today. and they muster up the courage, the energy to make the 50 calls, and they do really, really well. Here's what a lot of times happens is the next day or the day after that, they'll counterbalance that behavior because of the energy expenditure that the brain does not like. So one of the things we have discovered in behavioral neuroscience is small incremental changes over a longer period of time leads to long, consistent changes over long periods of time. And so we want to reduce what it is that we do to small, little, consistent changes versus massive action that we're not going to sustain. Because what happens when we take massive action that we don't sustain, then we start to lose self-confidence. We start to lose self-esteem. We start to lose our self-worth. And we now start to avoid disappointing ourselves when we repeat that cycle. So there are some really interesting things in the world of neuroscience that we're discovering around how do I reset my financial thermostat. So if I'm used to making $30,000 a year or $50,000 a year or even $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month, what it tells us is when we look at the effect of, income is an effect, right? How much we earn, it's an effect. How much debt we feel comfortable carrying, it's an effect. How much investment we have, it's an effect. So when we take a look at what created those effects, we know it's the automatic thoughts that we have. It's the automatic emotions we have. It's the automatic habitual behaviors that we have, not the sporadic thoughts, sporadic emotions, or sporadic behaviors. So the science of resetting, rescripting, reshaping, the financial set point should be done over time versus fast and quick, which is total contrary to what most personal development is out there teaching. So there's a saying in the Navy SEAL world that says, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Nice.
So
less resistance.
Less resistance. So we want to smooth out, the neural patterns, the new neural patterns on the front end, so we can remain consistent. So a lot of what I do with my students around the world is slow down to pick up speed. Slow down. Slow down.
Yeah, it's just so interesting, and it makes sense. Like, two things that come to mind are, I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, but I remember being in the gym, which I went to that gym every day. And, come January 1st, of course, it's, packed. And there was, I just remember these two guys were in there and they were just going so crazy. And I'd never seen them before. And they did, legs and shoulders and back and chest, and they did every single thing. And I never saw them again. And so it reminded that. And, sometimes people will attend an event and get, fired up. And that next, couple days when they get home, they go hard. But then like a week later, if you check in with them, they're at the exact same, pace that they were prior.
And part of it is also understanding that we can consciously, choose right now to do something. And I can override my habitual patterns, right? So I can consciously do something right now, tomorrow, the next day. But what happens over time is our brain wants to re-regulate back to the path of least resistance for glucose preservation. So if we understand, like, how does this organism work, which is something we all own, right? One of the highest priorities of the human brain is to conserve energy or glucose. So when we take, impulsive actions, day one, day two, go hard, our brain's saying, okay, I'll do this, and it feels good, and I like it, but then it reverts back to all the old automatic patterns that have been reinforced for decades for most of us. And so if you think, I'm just going to give people a quick visual. Everybody's going to get this. Yo-yo dieting.
Sure.
Every diet works. There's over 4,000 different diets. Every diet works for a short period of time. But why do people go on a diet, release the weight, and 98% gain it all back? It's not because they don't want to keep off the weight. Well, what happens, they start to have this self-talk. Okay, you've lost the weight. You look great. You're getting all these accolades. And that's what you're saying to yourself at the conscious level. But your subconscious is going, okay, now that you've done that, let's get back to the conditioning. Let's get back to what the setting is, your weight set point, fat set point, self-image that you've had for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. So the neuroscience of change, the reason to change your brain, to change your income, it's not change your goals to change your income. It's not, change your ideas to change your income. You actually have to change the subconscious set points and scripts that are the neural patterns that drive automatic behaviors over time. That's easy for your brain and my brain to just conserve energy and keep us in our comfort zone. And the reason we have temperature in a room is it's called our comfort zone. Your comfort zone might be 72 degrees in Florida. Mine might be 68 in San Diego, and somebody in Alaska, if they're at 62 degrees, that's their comfort zone. Right. So we all get different comfort zones, and then our brain is responsible to keep us in those comfort zones, even though we may not like it there.
Right. And that I've heard the term miserably comfortable. Right?
Absolutely.
Familiar, or miserably familiar, or comfortable. Familiar. Not what you want, but it's what you're used to.
It's what you're used to. It's really interesting if you think about lottery winners, and you and I have talked about this before. Sure. I think the statistic is something like 87% of all lottery winners that win millions and millions of dollars get rid of the money within 3 to 5 years. Like they just make stupid decisions, stupid purchases. And the question is why? They bought the ticket, they made the millions. Why do they get rid of it? And here is the answer. When your outside world of results doesn't match your internal self-image, your internal expectation points, your internal comfort zones, you will sabotage your outside world till it matches your internal map of reality and expectations. That's same is true.
So powerful. And I've seen that in network marketing, where you have the ability to get into a company and kind of have some luck, right? You bring in the right person or two people, and they just take off like crazy. Like you have the ability. That's not shouldn't be the plan, but sometimes you have that ability, and you have someone who is not used to making a ton of money all of a sudden making lots of money passively. And a lot of times you'll see them screw that up. A lot of times you'll see them, start, either getting greedier, or they'll start arguing with the company, or they start arguing with the leaders, and the leaders leave. Like, it's like you're dropped back down into where your setting is.
Yeah. And when I was building my company, Remax of Indiana, we would do a lot of training, right? We would train our agents on how to list homes, how to handle objections, how to make calls, what to say on the calls, what to say on the listing presentations. We would give them everything they needed, all the motivation, all of the skills training they would need. And so let's say that somebody was used to making, $3,000 a month, and all of a sudden they made $10,000 the next month. We would see them actually over the next month after that hardly make any money. Right. And they would be rationalizing why they weren't working as hard. They went so far beyond their norm that their brain recalibrated their thoughts and behaviors, and even their language patterns. And the term, they rationalized why they were not working as hard as the month before. And the definition of rationalize means they were telling themselves and us rational lies. Oh, I'm not taking action because, nice. I did so well last month. I just want to enjoy myself a little bit. It's like, well, if you just continued that, right, you'd make another 10,000, another 10,000. Right. They couldn't even see that they were rationalizing, that they were making up excuses. And when we started to understand what was happening, that they had hit their financial set point, their self-image set point, we asked ourselves, is there a way to reset somebody's set point? right? And I'm watching the comments. Is it possible to reset your set point? Is it possible to reset your body fat set point? Is it possible to reset your relationship set point, your business success set point? Of course it is. And so if you ask yourself, what makes up, okay, the program, okay, the mental program? Well, your beliefs make up the program. Your expectations make up the program. Your money story makes up the program. Your habits make up the program. Your attitude makes up the program. Your skills make up the program. So is it possible to level up your beliefs? Is it possible to level up your identity to match the new destiny? There's an interesting story that I want to share with you, Ray, if I can, around when my son Keenan was about to go to kindergarten. And
who is this? I missed the.
I'm sorry, my son Keenan.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Knowing that when we're out of our comfort zone, we tend to resist and we tend to be in a state of doubt and fear. So when my son Keenan was going to go to kindergarten, which was 19 years ago, for 2 weeks before kindergarten started during the summer, I would take him to the school. We'd look in the window and I'd start to create an image in his mind of what kindergarten was going to be like and how much fun he was going to have and what he was going to do with the other kids and which of the things was he going to play with first when he got into kindergarten. And then we actually would climb over the fence into the playground and I'd get him on the swings and get him down the slide. And I said, oh my God, the other kids are going to have so much fun here. And I built up this anticipation of what kindergarten means. That's awesome. And create an image for him of excitement and fun and growth and all this stuff. And I did this probably about 5 times over 2 weeks. We did the same thing. And the day that kindergarten started, I took Keenan to school. He was in the car seat in the back, and then he's like bouncing around like this, waiting to get out of the car to go to kindergarten. And I pulled into the parking lot, and this man and his daughter pulled in right next to us. And I get up, I go to the side to take Keenan out of the car. He grabs my hand and he is like pulling me to run up the stairs to the kindergarten. And this man and his daughter, she's pulling him to go back in the car.
Of course. Right?
Her set point was kindergarten wasn't safe. Kindergarten was something new. Unknown. And so one of the things that we can do to reset, okay, our financial thermostat, to change our brain, is what if every day, for example, you invested, as I mentioned earlier, a few minutes on awareness, but what if, just what if, you spent 2 to 3 minutes closing your eyes and see yourself achieving the financial goal you want. See yourself overcoming anything that might be in your way. See yourself living that lifestyle. See yourself taking inspired action. Here's what we know. If we can visualize, we can crystallize. If we can visualize, we are creating a simulation in our brain. And if we simulate enough times, 1 time, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, we actually start to see ourselves at this new level of success. So when we get there, our brain doesn't knock us back down to the level we were used to. Right. So our brain, doesn't know the difference between something we visualize and something we actually experience. Why? Because the same part of the brain, the occipital lobe, is responsible for the actual event or the visualized event. The same neurons fire, whether it's real or imagined. So every one of my students that I work with, I get them to visualize the success that they want to achieve. We develop what beliefs they need to have. We develop what habits they need to have. And then we create an incremental plan for them to be able to move forward, to rescript, reshape, and recalibrate their financial set point. And now we're working from the inside out and the outside in. And I'm going to give you like the holy grail of what to expect. It's tough for about 30 days. All of the latest research suggests that it takes between 66 days and 365 days to rescript, reshape, recalibrate the subconscious set points so they replace the old ones. What do most people do? They give it a week. They give it 2 weeks. They give it 3 weeks, and they go, this is too hard. Well, what if I shared with you, let's put a plan together for 100 days. Commit to the change for 100 days. 100 days, you commit to the change, then the change will commit to you. 100 days to change your life. Now, once you learn the process for that, why not use it to get healthier? Why not use it to augment your relationship? Why not use it in every area of your life? The process is all happening in here, in your brain. So when you learn how to change your brain to change your income, you can also learn how to change your brain to change your weight. You can also learn how to change your brain to change your business, change your brain to change your relationship, change your brain to change your whatever. Because the patterns in here are what drive your behaviors. And your behaviors, the ones you take, and not taking action is a behavior. So those create your results. So I don't focus on results. I focus on the process to create predictable behaviors.
So awesome. So I know I'm getting a little bit of a...
And by the way, Nicola says, takes 21 days to break a habit. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's an old belief and an old paradigm before we had the science. It takes 66 days to 365. So take the 21-day idea, all of you, throw it out the window. That's like still believing in Santa Claus. Not true.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, but not true.
You mentioned this on our when we did a TikTok live, and people were distraught. They're like, "What? Like, get me back to the 21-day world." And the time's going to pass anyway, right? Yeah. And so like, why not chip away at it and be dedicated to it?
Yeah, and let's give you a different frame also, right? Do you know what takes the longest in building a home? The design and the foundation.
Yeah.
The design and foundation. Once you have the design and the foundation, you can build up faster. So when we're talking about commit to 100 days, that's your foundation. Once you have the foundation, let's go. Right now we can start building up. So don't be impatient to build your foundation. Let me give you a different visual. Let's say I gave you a carrot seed, a seed for a carrot, or a seed for an oak tree. How often would you dig up the soil to see if anything's happening underneath the soil? What do you think would happen if you kept digging up the seeds? Is it growing? Is it growing? Is it growing? Or are the roots, is it growing? When's the carrot going to be here? Well, right. A carrot takes, about 85 days, okay? And a bamboo seed, okay, may take 3 years. So if you are not patient and you are not allowing the foundation to work, when we're dealing with, seeds and soil and roots, why not think of your idea and what you want to achieve is the seed, and why not think of the 100 days, okay, as fertilizing the seed to create some roots that then the roots could start building upon from there. 100 days? That's it? Of a little bit of positive, constructive, empowering thoughts and behaviors that then build you? That's not a lot of time. You can't learn, a language in 100. I mean, you can learn enough of a language in 100 days, but we want to get the foundation right.
Right. And again, the time's going to pass. The last 100 days passed. The next 100 days are going to pass anyway. Yeah. So I know that you have something really, really special going on this Saturday. It's your big Brain-a-thon. For those, I've been telling everyone I know about it. Tell us about that. And I understand that they can still, people can still attend for free. So can you tell us what that is all about?
So every year, I've been studying, the neuroscience and neuropsychology field for many, many years. And I get to play with some really spectacular scientists who are discovering amazing things, and also success experts. And so I bring on some top people to help you with mastering your mindset, mastering your emotions, master your habits, master your skills. And we do a free event. And so I've done 8 Brain-a-thons, one each year for the last 8 years. And so I've had people from Harvard and Oxford and Princeton and every major institution around. And this year we're doing our Brain-a-thon this Saturday. It's free. We could easily charge $1,000. We don't. We do it for free. I make the investment to pay the speakers costs and everything that's associated with that. And we usually have between 50 and 100,000 people sign up for the free Brainathon. And this year we have several people that were in the movie The Secret with me who are world renowned at their craft. So Jack Canfield was in The Secret. Many people also know him from Chicken Soup for the Soul and building the billion-dollar brand Chicken Soup. We have Lisa Nichols, powerhouse of a motivational, inspirational speaker and trainer.
Awesome.
We have Dr. John DeMartini. He will be on behavioral expert as well. We've got Marissa Peer, world-renowned hypnotherapist and the creator of the transformation or the rapid transformation system for self-hypnosis to let go of fears or limiting beliefs. We have Nurka, who's going to MC the event. We got Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, who's one of the top neuroscientists in the world this year. And then me. And we will be teaching for about 6-7 hours what we've discovered, what we've learned, what you can do to let go of any obstacle that's holding you back, and also get your brain changed so you can double or triple your income. And we'll have some of our clients who've become millionaires in a year. Some of our clients have gotten out of debt, $50, $60, $70,000 out of debt in less than a year, that are training their brain to change their income. And if you got a link, Ray, and people sign up, and people take that link, share it, with your friends, so that people will join us on Saturday night. And I know that we already have over 50,000 people registered. So cool. And I know, like today and tomorrow, we'll have about another 50,000 sign up. So it's an amazing event. It's one of the best trainings, virtual trainings in the world. Yep. And if you want to, if you really are ready to break free, and if you're ready to stop standing on the edge of your potential and learn the neuroscience of change so you can gain more confidence, gain more certainty in your abilities, and change methodically and predictably, then this is going to be the event that you're going to thank Ray for inviting you to.
For sure. So I posted in the comments and I posted on the screen, higdongroup.com/brain, higdongroup.com/brain. But I just want to, make the comment that, I mean, man, with 50,000 already and very likely another 50,000. I mean, imagine 100,000 people, and a lot of those 100,000 are impactors that go out and impact other people and make a difference and add value to the marketplace and help people. Like, I mean, you're literally in one day, you're changing the world, man. I mean, that's really amazing.
And what's really fun is the number of people that have been, let's say, on Brainathon 1, that have been on Brainathon 2, that keep coming and bringing their friends. And many of them are having like Brainathon parties on Saturday, so they can do it together. And they're doing, just a lot of fun stuff. It's really a transformational event with, experts that are top of the food chain. And we all can use motivation, which is great. We all could be inspired, which is great. But what really makes the bigger difference is, what should I do? Right? It's like, what should I do to change and stick to the changes, right? Because that's really where the game is won or lost. It's not about changing for today. It's about, how do I change forever? So that I can actually take inspired action consistently and level up the amount of income I make, the amount of impact I have, the amount of self-confidence I have, the amount of certainty I have in my own abilities. So I stop allowing my limiting beliefs or my fears or my self-image to hold me back. These are blockages that we have. They're like governors, on a car. We have governors, on our brain, even though the brain is limitless.
So true. And you guys have done the studies, the steps, it's this is what changes this. It's not, let's get you pumped up, let's get you fired up and go out there and go get them, go get them, Tiger. It's like, these are the steps that will change that right there.
And you mentioned something really great, right? And that is, this is very different than motivation, right? Motivation is like sunburn. It looks great for a little bit of time, but then it goes away. What we want to do is teach people how to change, how to break free from the stuff that's holding them back. Right. And we know vision and goals is great, and a why is great. But if that was the only thing you needed is having vision and goals and why you want to achieve them, everybody would be rich.
Right.
Everybody would be skinny. Everybody would be happy.
Right.
There's some other deeper layer things happening in every one of our brains. And here's the thing that's beautiful. Every brain works the same. So functionally, right, your left prefrontal cortex and my left prefrontal cortex does the same thing. Right. Your occipital lobe and my occipital lobe does the same thing. Your brainstem and my brainstem does the same thing. Your cerebellum and my cerebellum does the same thing. So the thing that we have to understand is our job is to utilize the brain that we were given by our creator, whatever you believe that to be, which I believe is worth $100 billion, and maybe just use it better.
Right. You already got it.
Maybe I just need to use it better. Maybe I just didn't learn how to operate it as well as I could. And that's the same as, there's people who are decent drivers, terrible drivers, and there's people who can drive in the Indianapolis 500, right? Because they got better at driving cars. Well, why not become better at using the greatest tool and gift and asset you already own? If you just use it a little bit better, it'll go a long, long way.
So awesome.
How many people here have already been to a Brainathon in the past, or how many people have signed up? I'd love to know that.
Who else signed up? Drop us a comment. Would love to know. I saw some commenting that they were signed up and registered.
Anybody? Right.
There is a question, John, and I actually don't know the answer. Misty's asking, will Saturday be recorded, or how does that work?
Yeah, it will be. Saturday will be recorded, and then we will edit it, and at some time we will have it available. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is registered. Deb, Tammy, you're first. Hi, Anand, sorry. Right, Belinda, awesome.
Carrie says she attended a Brainathon in the past, and it was amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we've had Srinivasan Pillai from Harvard. We've had Joan Rosenberg from Pepperdine on emotions. We've had Dr. Sarah Mackay from Oxford. I mean, we've had some amazing individuals that a lot of times you can't even get to them, unless you're either paying them or you're in university, right? Some brilliant individuals. Yeah, it's a game changer. It's it's one of the reasons I do this is I'm in the personal development arena. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. And like, what's the real stuff, right? Like, I know reading a book is great, but we usually don't take action. I know, listening to a session like this is great. We high five. It feels great. We really don't take a lot of action because we revert back to our habitual way of thinking and being. It's not that we don't want to,
right? But
there's a gap between the want to and the behavioral cortex in the brain that causes us to.
Right.
Right. There's a disconnect between those two parts of our brain. And the key is to integrate and create coherence between the two parts of our brain. The behavioral center is a place in the brain called the striatum. And the striatum is connected to our hippocampus and the memory center where our habits are in the striatum. So think about this. Everybody answer this question, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. We are all creatures of, right? Type in the answer. We're all creatures of. Come on, type it in.
Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first?
We're all creatures of. There's a delayed response here.
They may be stumped.
Come on, we're all creatures of. And Maddie says he loved the Brainathon last year. Well, this is all brands. Oh, habit. Here we go. Now we got everybody. We're all creatures of habit. Yeah. So let me ask you a question, right? And I already know the answer to this, but how much do you know about your habits? Like, what causes them? What triggers them? What's the reward you're getting? Why are they so hard to break? Mm-hmm. Like, if we're creatures of habit, right, then why does our brain develop habits? And if our brain develop habits, you think it's to protect us. You think it's to make it easier for us. Well, it creates habits to conserve energy. And once a habit is created over space, repetition, and time, then our brain just runs it automatically. And our brain doesn't have this good habit, bad habit, keep this one, let go of that one. Empowering habit, disempowering habit, keep this one, let go of that one. Positive habit, negative habit, keep this one, let go. No, a habit is a habit. And however it's been developed, your brain just runs it. It's a biocomputer, okay, that doesn't think about good or bad. You, another part of you, can think, is this good or bad? But then if you have a destructive, disempowering, limiting, even negative habit, do you know how to let it go? Do you know how to deactivate the neural pattern that's been reinforced called a habit? Do you know how to deactivate it? And do you know how to deliberately and consciously choose a more empowering, constructive one and build it? Like most people say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's your brain. You don't know. That's like saying, I have a beautiful car in my driveway, but I don't know how to drive it.
Right.
Great, then get a driver. Okay, then I can get a driver, or don't complain that you can't go anywhere.
Right.
Right. So when we're talking about the science of change, we want to understand also the science of changing habits, because 97% of our thoughts, 97% of our emotions, 97% of our behavior are habitual, automatically triggered patterns.
Yeah. It's
So
like an autopilot.
If we want to change our results, we must learn the science of changing our habits and becoming good at that.
Yeah.
It's a skill. It's just a skill you need to learn. And the good news is, if you want to learn checkers or chess or knitting or a new language or using social media, it's a skill you need to learn.
Right.
And if you apply yourself and you do the right things, right? It's not practice that makes perfect. It's perfect practice that makes perfect, right? So if we learn how to do it right, now we build what I call our keystone habits. Keystone habits are the habits that we can build upon. So let's build the foundational keystone habits. Then we can start layering, okay, more empowering, constructive, habits that'll help us double, triple, quintuple our income. Because how to make 5 times more money, Ray already knows how to teach you how to do that. How to, right? The how to make more money. He can teach you exactly what to do in the next hour, 3 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours. And you might do it for a day, but will you do it for 30 days? Will you do it for 60 days? Will you do it for 90 days? Will you do it for every day of your life?
Right.
No, because you're not comfortable doing that. You're comfortable doing what you're doing right now. So let's give you the science of change so you can then take the knowledge and the skills that's already available to you, and you can change from the inside out so your constructive habits start to build you. Does that make sense?
Amen. And so for those asking how, I mean, he's shared a lot of information here, but I would definitely get registered this Saturday, higdongroup.com/brain. And I'm fairly certain I know the answer to this, but I'm curious to hear yours. Camille asked, can someone that has had a stroke change their habits?
Of course they can. One of the things we know about the brain, right, is, we have the new science of neuroplasticity and the new science of neurogenesis. So neuroplasticity shares that the neurons that fire together will wire together. And when we've had a stroke and maybe neurons and circuits have died, our brain will actually reroute, some of the functionality from one part of the brain to the other. So if we start to practice, the new habitual changes that we want, right? What does practice do? Practice makes permanent patterns. Here's the challenge for most people. They don't practice long enough to make the pattern permanent, right? They proverbially, plant the seed, like it's not happening fast enough. Well,
right.
How long does it take a baby to learn how to eat just with a spoon? How long does it take a baby to learn how to walk? How long does it take a baby to learn how to put, his little pants on? It doesn't happen in one sitting or standing. It happens over time, where the motor cortex has got to connect to the, to the sight, to the visual cortex, to the auditory cortex, to the tactile cortex, and these neurons that are fired together create patterns. But if the patterns aren't reinforced, they just dwindle away, and atrophied. So part of the challenge we have is we haven't learned the proper expectation of here's how long it normally would take, and then put a plan to just check it off. I said, listen, my test for all of my students and people that work with me is give me 100 days. Just give me 100 days to help you change a little bit each day for 100 days. I'll give you the life of your dreams. Not your life of your dreams in 100 days, but I'll give you the foundation of what you need to do to build upon that over the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, you're not the same person. But if you can't commit and have the discipline for 100 days, then Jim Rohn, and Ray, you know this, has one of my favorite quotes. He says, in life, you're either going to pay the price of discipline or you're going to pay the price of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And so I refuse to not pay a little bit of discipline now so that I can live the life of my dreams. I refuse not to pay the price of discipline, because the truth is, and this throws a lot of people for a loop, we are already 100% disciplined to our current habits.
Right.
We're already 100% disciplined to our current habitual thought habits, our current emotional habits, our current behavioral habits. So if all I need to do is shift for 100 days to shift the beginning foundations of my thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and then I can reinforce those, oh my.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So awesome. So I see quite a few people registered for Saturday. They're super excited. Again, higdongroup.com/brain. And if you got value from this, feel free to share this. How many people on your team struggle with their habits? Would that be all of them, right? And so feel free to share this. John, I know how busy you are. So for you to come out here and spend all this time with us, we really, really appreciate it. And so please drop him some love, drop John some gratitude. And if you're wanting to take your life up a level, if you're wanting to really change up your entire life, get registered, higdongroup.com/brain. You're going to get some amazing training, and I'm super excited for it.
And Ray, I just want to let you know, one of the things I love about you and Jess is, number one is your heart and how you give so much to the people that you serve in your communities, whether it's on social media, your paid communities, your clients, and also how much joy you guys take in seeing their success. And so for me to participate with you and to share with your group and to impact in any positive way that we can, and maybe get people to see a little bit more about the wisdom and genius and amazing potential within them, and then show them how to use it, is my absolute joy. So thank you for being you, my friend.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So John, everybody, give him some love. Feel free to share this. higdongroup.com/brain. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.